So one common thing which we notice is the fact that the technologies which most of the technologies that are climate smart, if you like, and what we mean by climate smart, we are saying that these are technologies that are being implemented to ensure that the objectives of, addressing the challenges of climate change, that is, we have technologies that contribute to food security, food security and increased production. They contribute to adaptation or resilience building towards climate change, and they contribute to mitigation. Most of these technologies are knowledge intensive. What we mean by being knowledge intensive is that it's not like when you release a variety of a maize seed, for instance, a new maize variety, which gives a little bit more yield. It's straightforward. The farmer, if you have demonstrated to the farmer that this variety produces more than the other one, they'll grow it and it produce more. However, for a knowledge-intensive technology, for instance, conservation agriculture, all of a sudden you tell the farmer, don't use your plow, don't open up the whole field, just open part of where you are going to put your seed. Put a cover crop on your soil and also rotate. It means that you have to explain to the farmer why that has to be done. So it means that there's a lot of investment in the capacity building. The extension officer also has to understand why. What is the rationale behind that? And when we are dealing with so many smallholder farmers, it means that we need to have adequate resources for training. We need to also invest in the training of the extension officers themselves. We also need to improve the accessibility for farmers to the inputs that are required for them to achieve those gains. What we've seen in the field is the farmers who have been successful, the ones whose lessons we are picking to ensure that other farmers also pick up this, are farmers who, when you go and you sit and listen, they are like scientists themselves. They've appreciated, they've understood. What we've seen is a lot of gaps in terms of this knowledge that farmers pick up and appreciate, is because sometimes projects are so quick to achieve results that they don't spend enough time to get farmers to a level where they are so capable of convincing others. A lot of time you just say, no, conventional is not good for you. You do conservation agriculture without spending the time. But we've seen that where you have spent a lot of time, it's actually worth it. Because then the farmers themselves talk to other farmers, and the adoption is actually faster when they're learning from each other.
You know, the idea that CSA can be applied across the board I think that is the wrong notion, because different communities have different priorities, they have different needs, they're interested in different things. So what we're trying to say is that CSA is context specific. You need to know who you're targeting, you need to know what they need, and then you need to know, even in terms of climate, what kind of challenges are they facing, because different communities face different climate change challenges. Yeah. So I think an approach that seems to be working is whereby you identify the challenges the communities are facing together with the communities, and then based on these challenges, climate-related challenges, based on these challenges, then you work together to develop the solutions. So it needs to be a bottom-up approach. Even though we're informed by policies that are developed at the global level, at the international level, but in terms of implementation, we need to do this from a bottom-up perspective. Yes, so that we identify the priorities and the needs of the farmers with whom we are going to work, and the technologies and the practices that are developed are tailored towards addressing these needs.
The policymakers need buy-in. Some of what we've seen work is when we actually invite policymakers. Policy briefs are not enough. They need to be out in the field to see what's happening. We've seen that in countries where we are seeing, numbers of adoption of CA go up, is where policymakers have been actively involved in the field. They actually come to the field days. The other thing we've seen, which also improves policymakers, convicts them, is when we've also worked with the big farmers, commercial farmers who have picked up conservation agriculture. So when we have our field days, we like to have these commercial farmers who also talk to smallholder farmers as well as policymakers. And these are people who have made it big. They are making good money, and it seems to work much better in the presence of the commercial farmers, because these are people who are really, you can see from the way they are living that things have changed.